Hey everyone, this is Soham from CubeNama, and in this video we'll be learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
Be a shooting star. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The Rubik's Cube is a three-dimensional puzzle. It was invented in the year 1974 by Hungarian architect and professor Erno Rubik. Since then, it is one of the highest-selling toy in the world. The Rubik's Cube. It is made out of three types of pieces. The first type of piece is an edge piece. An edge piece comes between these two corner pieces and is made up of two colors. On a Rubik's Cube, you have 12 edges. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Every edge on a Rubik's Cube is unique. So let's say you have the white and blue edge. That will be the only white and blue edge on the entire Rubik's Cube. The next type of piece we have is a centerpiece. A centerpiece is the one in the center, and there are 6 centerpieces. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The color of the centerpiece determines the color of the side. So if I have the white center, it means the entire side will be white in color, and likewise for every single side. One thing about the centers is that the position of the centerpiece never changes. So no matter how much you scramble the cube, you'll always have yellow opposite to the white, you'll have blue opposite to the green center, and red opposite to the orange center. No matter how much you scramble, no matter what turns you make, you'll always have blue opposite to the green, yellow opposite to the white center, and red opposite to the orange center. The last type of piece we have are the corner pieces. A corner piece is made out of 3 colors, and on a Rubik's Cube we have 8 corners. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to sum it up, once again we have 12 edges, 6 centers, and 8 corners. You can visualize the Rubik's Cube as a three-dimensional puzzle that is divided into layers. So we have the first layer or the bottom layer, we have the middle layer or the second layer, and we have the top layer or the third layer. The method that we'll be using to solve the Rubik's Cube is called the LBL method, which stands for layer by layer. So we'll be solving it layer by layer, that is, we'll be solving the first layer, then the second layer or the middle layer, and then the third layer or the top layer. Before we start solving the Rubik's Cube, let's have a look at the different moves that we can do on the Rubik's Cube and the different notations that it represents. The first type of moves we have are the right side moves. First we have the R, which is right side goes up, and next we have an R prime, which is right side goes down. Every regular move is a 90-degree turn in the clockwise direction. So we have R, which is a 90-degree turn in the clockwise direction. Every irregular move or every prime move is an anti-clockwise turn by 90 degrees. So we have the R prime, which is right side goes down. Once again, we have R, which is right side goes up or clockwise, and we have the R prime, which is right side goes down or anti-clockwise. Similar to the right side, we have the left side moves. On the left side, we have L, which means left side goes down or left side goes clockwise, and we have the L prime, which means left side goes up or left side goes anti-clockwise. The next set of moves we have are the U moves, or the moves on the upper layer. First we have the U move, which is the top layer or the upper layer goes to the left or clockwise. Next we have the U prime, which is the top layer or the up layer goes to the right or anti-clockwise. So that's U or U prime. Next set of moves we have are the D moves, or the moves on the downward layer. First we have the D, which is the down layer goes to the right. The next we have the D prime, which is the down layer goes to the left. So that's D and D prime. The next set of moves we have are the F moves, or the moves on the front layer. First we have the F, which is the front side goes clockwise, and the next we have is F prime, which is front side goes anti-clockwise. So we have F and F prime. The last set of moves I'll be using to solve the cube is called the B moves, or the moves on the back side. First we have the B, which is the back layer goes clockwise. Next we have B prime, which is the back layer goes anti-clockwise. So that's B and B prime. Sometimes you might find a move that has the number 2 after it, like R2, L2, U2. It is simply turning the right side, left side, upper side twice. So if I have R2, I'll turn the right side twice. If I have U2, I'll turn the top layer twice. If I have L2, I'll turn the left side twice. These notations together form the algorithms or the formulas that you might have heard people say. Let's have a look at the sample formula. The formula we have here is FRU R prime U prime F prime. Let me execute it. So that's F, which is front side clockwise, R, which is right side up, U, which is top layer goes to the left, R prime, which is right side goes down, U prime, which is top layer goes to the right, and F prime, which is front side goes anti-clockwise. So this is what a sample form algorithm looks like. Now that we know the algorithms, now that we know the notations and how the cube is structured and the different types of pieces on it, let's get down to actually solving the Rubik's Cube. Before we start solving, let's give a good long scramble. Make sure it is perfectly scrambled on every single side. The first step of solving a Rubik's Cube is to solve a cross. This is what a perfect cross looks like, wherein you have a white plus or a white cross on top. Also, the colors that are along with the white edge are matching with respect to center. So in this case, we have the white and the red edge, wherein the red edge is matching with the red center. We have the white and blue edge with the blue edge matching the blue center. We have the white and orange edge with the orange edge matching the orange center. And we have the white and green edge with the green edge matching the green center. So this is what the perfect cross looks like. Solving the cross is again divided into two steps. Step 1 is solving a daisy. A daisy is a yellow center surrounded by 4 white edges. So it looks like a flower or a daisy with the white petals and the yellow center. This is a very intuitive step. Let's try to solve the daisy. To get the daisy, first keep the yellow center on top. Next step is locate a white edge. I have a white edge right here. I need to bring this white edge on top. I'll simply do a R move. I'll again look for another white edge. I have another white edge here. It's on the left side. To get this white edge on top, I'll simply do a L prime move. Next, I'll again locate for another white edge. Okay, I have another white edge here. It's the blue and white edge. Again, it's on the left side. I need to bring this white edge here. I'll again simply do a L prime move, and the white edge is again in the top layer. Let me find the last white edge. As you can see, I cannot find the white edge in any of these layers, which means the white edge must be in the bottom layer. I have the white edge here in the bottom layer. I can bring it on top by just doing a R2. But doing that will kick out this piece. So in order to solve this, what I can do is I have an empty slot present right here. I'll bring this piece over here by turning the top layer once. Now, I'll bring this white edge in the top layer by doing an R2. And thus our daisy is solved. The next step is we'll convert the daisy into a perfect cross. To do that, simply match the corresponding color along with the white edge. In this case, we have the white and orange edge with its respective center. So I'll turn the bottom two layers until this and this piece are matching. Orange and green are not matching. I'll turn it again. Now, orange edge is matching with the orange center. I'll simply put it in the bottom layer by turning the front layer twice. I'll turn the cube. In this case, the red edge is not matching with the red center. I'll turn the bottom two layers. These two pieces are matching. I'll turn the front side twice. 1, 2. I'll turn the cube. Now, we have the white and blue edge. The blue edge is not matching with the blue center. I'll turn the bottom two layers. It's still not matching. I'll turn it again. The edge is matching with the center. I'll turn the front layer twice. 1, 2. I'll turn the cube. Once again, the two pieces are not matching. I'll turn the bottom two layers. The pieces are matching. I'll turn the front side twice. 1, 2. You have to do this until all the white edges are in the bottom layer. And as you can see, the white cross is perfectly solved, wherein we have a white plus or a white cross on top. Also, the corresponding edges are matching with the respective center. Once the cross is done, the next step is to solve the first layer or the remaining 4 white corners. This is what a solved first layer looks like, wherein you have the white cross and the 4 corners solved. As you can see, we didn't just solve a color, we solved the entire layer. To solve the white corner, simply Put the white cross in the bottom layer. Now, we'll be using a simple formula here. The formula is RU R prime U prime. What the formula does is, the formula will shoot the corner from the top layer to the bottom layer. To do that, the corner must be exactly on the top of its actual position. So, firstly look at the white corner. In this case, we have a white, green and orange corner. Now, since the other two colors are green and orange, this corner must be between the green and the orange center. Luckily, it's already between the green and orange center. So, you might have to do the formula one or multiple times depending upon the position of the corner. Firstly, keep the corner on the right side facing you. Now, we'll do the formula R U R prime U prime. As you can see, the corner is not solved. We'll do it again. R U R prime U prime. We'll do the formula again. R U R prime U prime. R U R prime U prime. R U R prime U prime. And as you can see, the formula solved the corner. Moving on to the next corner, we have the white, green and red corner. Once again, the green and red corner is already between the green and red centers. Lucky for us. Let's solve this. R U R prime U prime. R U R prime U prime. R U R prime U prime. And as you can see, that solved the corner. Moving on to the next corner, we have the white, blue and red corner. Luckily, once again, the white, blue and red corner is already between the blue and red center. Assume this piece was over here. If this piece, the white, blue and red, was between the green and orange center, we would simply turn the top layer until it was between the blue and red center. Now, we'll keep it on the right side and do the formula R U R prime U prime. And as you can see, it solved this piece. We just located the last corner, which is the white, orange and blue corner. Once again, this corner is not between the the orange and blue centers. So we'll turn the top layer until it's between the orange and blue centers. Now we'll do the formula R U R prime U prime, 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 R U R prime U prime. And thus we have successfully solved the first layer. Now, the formula R U R prime U prime I'd recommend to use only while starting off. Once you can solve the cube properly in maybe under a minute and a half or maybe under 2 minutes, try learning more optimal methods of inserting the corners. Okay? Look at a special case. In this case, the corner is in the bottom layer. Now, the corner is in the correct position, but it is in the bottom layer. To solve this, we'll simply do R U R prime U prime once, and as you can see, the corner is now in the top layer. Now we'll insert it like we regularly did by using R U R prime U prime, R U R prime U prime, R U R prime U prime. This is another special case in which the white color is solved, but the white layer is not done. As you can see, the red is solved, the blue is not solved, neither is the orange, neither is the green. So what has happened is, these two pieces have been swapped. This piece, the white, blue and orange, belongs here in the white between the blue and orange centers. And this piece, the white, orange and green corner, belongs here between the green and orange center. To solve this simply, we'll insert a yellow corner in any of these two pieces. So I'll insert it here by doing R U R prime U prime. By doing that, I've kicked out the white, blue and orange corner. Now I'll insert it in the correct position. R U R prime U prime, 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 R U R prime U prime. And thus I've solved a corner, which has once again kicked out the other corner, which is the white, green and orange corner. I'll take it between the green and orange center and I'll do the formula R U R prime U prime, and the corner is solved. And thus we have learned how to successfully solve the first layer. If you had any doubts until this step, make sure you rewind the video, make sure you pause the video, make sure you write down the notations and the algorithms until you can perfectly solve the cube until this stage. Now that we've learned how to solve the first layer, we'll move on to solving the second layer. This is what the solved second layer looks like, wherein you have the first layer solved as well as the second layer solved. To solve the second layer, we are essentially solving only 4 pieces, that are these 4 edges, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 edges are the green and the orange edge, the orange and the blue edge, the blue and the red edge, and the red and green edge. To To solve the second layer, simply keep the yellow center on top. Now, in the top layer, look for a non-yellow edge piece. A non-yellow edge piece will be an edge piece where none of the two colors are yellow. In this case, we have the green and the yellow edge, so this is not a non-yellow edge piece. We have a red and blue edge piece here. It is a non-yellow edge piece. Firstly, make sure the piece is facing you. Now, the color that is on the front should be matching with its respective center. These two colors are not matching, so I'll turn the top layer until the red edge is matching with the red center. Now look for the corresponding color. In this case, it's blue. The blue center will be either on a right or on a left side. In this case, the blue center is on our left side. So we'll be using the left formula for the second layer. The formula is U prime L prime U L U F U prime F prime. Let's execute the formula. So we have U prime L prime U L U F U prime F prime. And thus we have successfully solved this piece. Now let's again look for another non-yellow edge piece. We have the blue and orange edge piece here. Once again, the blue is matching with the blue center. The color on top is orange. The orange center is on the left side. So again, we'll use the left formula. The formula is U prime L prime U L U F U prime F prime. And thus we have solved this piece. Look for another non-yellow edge piece. In this case, we have the red and the green piece. The color that's on the front is red and it's not matching with the respective center. So we'll turn the top layer. Now, the red edge is matching with the red center. The color on top is green and green is to our right side. So now we'll learn what the right formula is. The right formula is U R U prime R prime U prime F prime U F. Let's execute the formula. U R U prime R prime U prime F prime U F. And thus we have solved this piece. Let's have a look at the last non-yellow edge piece. In this case, we have the green and the orange piece. The color in the front is green. Let's match it with the respective center. The color on top is orange and the orange center is to our right. So we'll use the right formula. Once again, the formula is U R U prime R prime U prime F prime U F. And thus we have successfully solved the entire second layer. In the second layer, this is a special case wherein the piece is in its correct position but it is flipped. All the other pieces are solved, but this piece is flipped. It is in the correct position though. What we'll be doing is, we'll be inserting any other edge piece in its position, kicking this piece out, and then inserting it properly once again. Now, let's take this piece for example. Let's assume this to be blue and this to be red. Red is on our right side, so we'll do the right formula. U R U prime R prime U prime F prime U and F. And thus we have inserted the yellow and orange piece in the position, kicking out the blue and red piece. Now we'll insert the blue and red piece properly, matching blue with the blue center. Red is on our right side. We'll do the right formula. U R U prime R prime U prime F prime U and F. And thus we have inserted it back correctly. Now that you have solved the first two layers, it's time to solve the third layer. This is by far the easiest step in solving the Rubik's Cube. The first two steps are pretty intuitive, but the third step completely relies on algorithms. Here I would recommend you, at every single point whenever I show you a new algorithm, pause the video, write down the algorithm and practice it. Make sure you memorize the algorithm very well. So, let's get into it. Once you've solved the first two layers, the next step is to solve a yellow cross. After solving the two layers, you can encounter any of these four cases. First is a dot case, when you have a yellow dot on top, similar to this. The second case is wherein you have a yellow arrow. The third case is wherein you have a yellow line. And the fourth case is wherein you get a cross solved. Our objective is to get a solved yellow cross. Let's say we got the yellow dot. To solve the yellow dot, the formula that we'll be using is FRU R prime U prime F prime. It is the same formula that we first practiced when we learned when we learned the notations on a Rubik's Cube. So let's apply the formula. It's FRU R prime U prime F prime. Once we do it on a dot, we get the arrow case. Now, to solve the arrow case, keep one part of the arrow facing towards you and the other part of the arrow to the right. Ignore the corners. So this is the arrow case, keeping one part towards me and one part to my right. I'll again do the same formula, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. As you can see, I have the line case, a horizontal line. Ignore the corners. Once again, I'll keep the line horizontal and I'll do the same formula, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And as you can see, the cross is done. Depending upon which case you get, you might have to use the formula 1 to 3 times. So if you get a dot case, you use the formula once to get the arrow. If you get the arrow case, you use the formula again to get the line case. If you get the line case, you use the formula again to get the cross case. Once we're done with the yellow cross, it's time to solve the 4 yellow edges. In this, you might encounter 3 different cases. The first case is wherein all the yellow edges are already solved, wherein the yellow-green edge is matching with the yellow center as well as the green center. The yellow-orange edge is matching with the yellow center as well as the orange center. The yellow-blue edge is matching with the yellow center as well as the blue center. And the yellow-red edge is matching with the yellow center as well as the red center. The other case is wherein there's one edge matching and the opposite edge is matching. So as you can see, the 2 opposite yellow edges are matching. And the third case is wherein any 2 adjacent edges are matching. So we'll turn the top. In this case, the opposite edges are matching. So we have the yellow and green edge matching and the yellow and blue edge matching, and the 2 edges are opposite to each other. To solve this, the formula we'll be using is R U2 R prime, U prime R U prime, R prime U prime. The way you hold this is you keep one matching edge on the right side and the opposite matching edge on the left side. Let's do the formula. R U2 R prime U prime, R U prime R prime U prime. I'll once again turn the top layer. Now in this case, the orange edge is matching and the green edge is matching. So we converted the opposite matching case into the adjacent matching case. To solve this, the way you hold it is you keep one matching edge on the back side and one matching edge on the left side. Let's apply the formula R U2 R prime U prime, R U prime R prime U prime. And thus we have successfully solved all the edges. Now that you have solved the edges, it's time to solve the corners. Solving the corners is divided into 2 parts. The first part is permuting the corners, which is essentially swapping these corners amongst themselves until they are in the correct position. So to permute the corners, firstly check if any of the corners are in the correct position. In this case, none of the corners are in the correct position. What I mean is the yellow, red and blue corner should belong here in the yellow, red and blue spot. The red, yellow and green corner should belong here in between the yellow, red and green centers. This piece, the yellow, blue and orange corner should belong here, and likewise this piece belongs here. The way we solve this is, if none of the corners are in the correct position, it doesn't matter how you hold it, we use the formula. The formula is L prime U R U prime, L U R prime U prime. Let's apply the formula L prime U R U prime, L U R prime U prime. Now, we'll again check if any of the corners are in the correct position. As you can see, we successfully permuted this corner. It's in the correct position. The yellow, blue and red corner is between the yellow, blue and red center. All we need to do is twist it and this piece will be solved. What we'll do is we'll hold the permuted corner in the bottom right position. We'll again do the formula L prime U R U prime, L U R prime U prime. We'll check. Still these 3 corners are not in the correct position. We'll again keep the correct corner in the bottom right position and do the formula L prime U R U prime, L U R prime U prime. As you can see, this corner is the correct position, this corner is in the correct position, and we successfully solved these 2 corners as well. We have successfully permuted every single corner. Let's solve these corners. What I mean by solving is, we simply have to turn them, that is, we have to orient them in the proper place. The formula that we're using is R prime D prime R D. What this formula does is, it solves or turns the corner in the bottom right position. To do this, we need the corner that we wish to solve in the bottom right position. We need to solve this corner, it's in the bottom right position. We'll do the formula R prime D prime R D. The corner is not solved, so we do it again, R prime D prime R D. It's still not solved, we do it again, R prime D prime R D. Again, R prime D prime R D. As you can see, the corner is solved. We definitely messed up this part, but do not worry about it. Now we need to solve this corner. So what we do is we'll bring this corner in the bottom right position by turning the top layer. Again, we'll use the same formula. R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D. As you can see, we have solved this corner. Now we bring this piece over here by turning the top layer. We'll again use the same formula. R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D, R prime D prime R D. And thus we have successfully solved this corner. And as you can see, with that, we have successfully learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube. At any point in time, if you have any doubts, make sure you pause the video, make sure you rewind it, make sure you write down the formulas, and make sure you memorize them thoroughly. With this method, you should be able to solve the Rubik's Cube in less than 1 minute 30 seconds. As I said, learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube and getting better at it, it's a process, it's a learning curve. Make sure you keep on learning new methods and new formulas and optimizing the way you solve the cube. If you have any further doubts, feel free to drop us a message on our Instagram page or on our Facebook page. We reply to every single comment and every single message that we get there. The cubes that I'm using in this video, if you'd like to purchase them and if you'd like to purchase other high quality puzzles, make sure to visit our website www.cubedamastore.com. The link will be in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I keep it going, I'm rolling and blowing, I'm coasting, I got them all trolling me right. I just keep growing and showing them, knowing I'm owning this flow, you can catch me outside. Gonna get them all with a little pain.